Hello, dear English teachers in Peru and English teachers around the world. Welcome, everyone. We're really happy to have you here once again. You were invited to enjoy another session of our spring webinar series, Innovation and Didactic Strategies in English Language Teaching. The session for today is titled Dialogs from Memory to Role Play. Don't forget to follow us on our social networks such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube as well and follow us in TikTok. It's important to consider some instructions that we have to take into consideration. Please type your questions in the comment section. The answers to your questions and comments will be replied by our guest speaker at the end of the webinar in the question time section. About the exit ticket. When finishing the webinar, we will share a link for you to have access to the exit ticket, which will be available for 15 minutes. Don't forget, please, to pay attention in order to answer the questions on the exit ticket. Now it's time to know our guest speaker. Please, Ms. Mayra Trey Rios Rengifo, could you introduce him?
Yes, Miss. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to talk about our dear speaker. Manuel Salas, ELT degree from the National Pedagogical Institute, Monterrico, Masters in Education Management and Doctorate Studies in Education at the Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos, Certificate of Proficiency in English of the University of Michigan, USA, and Certificate of MS Office Expert Specialist from Cybertech. Training in coaching at Pontificia Universidad Católica del Perú, Diploma in Education Management at Escuela de Directores of IPAE, more than 30 years experience in schools, academies, and universities as a teacher, academic coordinator, and deputy headmaster. Amply experience as teacher, trainer, and ELT advisor, giving workshops throughout the country as a freelance consultant for Pearson, Macmillan, and Greenwich. In addition to educational projects, experience in designing virtual learning environments, latest experience as ELT specialist from elementary school at Minedu. Welcome, Mr. Manuel. The audience listen to you.
Hello everyone. How are you? I hope you are fine. I'm really happy to be here one more time to have just some exchange of ideas about our ELT world. Okay. And let me share my presentation. All right. I think you can see it now, right?
Yes, Manuel.
Okay, great, thank you. Well, I chose this topic, dialogues from memory to role play, because I've been observing classes lately, well, during this year, okay, working for a company which gives service to schools. So I have been observing classes, giving feedback, writing reports, but I have observed that there is still some emphasis on the memorization of dialogues rather than on the use of role play, which may be much better, right? When I talk about memory, then I think about those years when we used to have in fashion the audiolingual method, right? All the lessons in an audiolingual method begin or finish with a dialogue. We always have a dialogue, okay? However, the ultimate objective for this dialogue is to memorize it. So after doing a number of exercises, typically mechanical exercises like substitution drills or transformation drills, like changing from affirmative to negative, from negative to affirmative, from affirmative to interrogative, etc. Those mechanical exercises. Then we get to the point of presenting a dialogue. So what is that procedure? Remember, we play the dialogue and the students listen maybe twice, 3 times. Then we have them identify some elements in the dialogue. Those elements may be of 2 types, either vocabulary, the new vocabulary of the lesson, or the grammar. Okay? So we tell them, okay, listen again and raise your hand if you hear these words, ta 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 ta, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So we play the audio again, our dialogue, and we will pause as students raise their hands. Okay, so they raise their hands. Okay, what did you hear? Give me the number, 1, 2, 3. Okay, what's number 2? All right. Okay, and so on. Or it may be the grammar. So we write the necessary sentence that will appear in the dialogue with the pertaining pattern, right? The grammatical pattern, right? Okay. Okay. Right. Now, so that's it. We play it, they identify it. Excellent. Right. So we fix our students' minds in the vocabulary and the grammar. And then we say, all right, now open your books, or we project, maybe we project the dialogue. We say, all right, here's the dialogue. Look, now please listen again. And one more time, the students just listen twice. They now can read, now they can see the words that they identified, they can see the sentences that they identified. Okay? This is a very careful procedure, all right? And only then, only after that much listening, we say, all right, now please repeat. Let's go line by line. And they listen to every line, we pause and they repeat line by line. So we train them in speaking, in saying the lines of that dialogue. Yes? And we do this twice at least. You see how many times they are being exposed to this. And after that, we have this mechanical role play in which we say, all right, now let's practice. Look, I will be speaker A, you see, the name of the speaker, and you will be speaker B, okay? So we are going along this audiolingual strategy, which worked and still works. Okay, and all right, and we go vice versa, maybe groups, group A, group B, and then we say, all right, now practice in pairs. Okay, and they start practicing in pairs. And you may even use the vanishing technique in which you start erasing some words, some parts of every line of the dialogue until it vanishes completely, and the students just go on practicing and saying the dialogue even though it has disappeared. Okay, now you see, at this point I like to reflect on something, because I have gone over this procedure, careful procedure when you work with a dialogue under the audiolingual method. But many teachers, I say many teachers present a dialogue and say, okay, now I need 2 volunteers. Okay, you read A, you read B. I mean, they start by making the students say the dialogue, and then immediately, okay, good. Now, okay, let's practice. And everybody in pairs and start. Students cannot reproduce something that they haven't repeated. They haven't been trained in saying. Okay? Maybe there are teachers, I have observed teachers who, well, they don't make them practice immediately, but all right, they say, look, this is the dialogue, all right? Now, please repeat. And they start, okay. No, listen and repeat. Okay, so listen, repeat. Again, reflection. Your students cannot repeat. Start repeating something that they have not heard yet several times with a certain purpose, even with a certain purpose. Okay, identification, comprehension, whatever. So working with dialogues, it takes time. It's a very careful procedure. Okay. Now, as I said at the very beginning, maybe the dialogue is the end of the lesson, because in order to get to that dialogue, our students have practiced a lot of vocabulary and grammatical exercises. No, they have read a paragraph, etc., in which they have found the necessary elements that now they will practice speaking at the end of the lesson. Okay, so this may be the logical procedure. Okay, this may be the logical procedure. All right. Okay. Now, if we go forward, then we move from the audiolingual method, in which we found just words, and or maybe keywords, to audiovisual. That is, instead of using words or showing words, then we show pictures. Okay, a lot of pictures. All right. So we are changing from the mechanical to the meaningful exercises. Okay. And that is very good, because if you present an image, this image represents a concept. Okay. And there is a connection between the picture, the image, and the concept that it represents. And this is also attached to the sound, to the pronunciation. Okay, so if I present an apple, then they see the image of the apple. First of all, I don't need to translate that. Okay, be careful, primary teachers, right? I use pictures, and only pictures. I don't need to translate. The pictures are there. So this image represents the fruit, and they can see the fruit. And then I say the name of the fruit. Okay, apple, great. Okay, so I like apples, great. There's the apples. I get another picture. Look, bananas. I like bananas, etc. No, until I get to the to the exchange, right? To the exchange, like, do you like apples? Do you like bananas, etc.? Okay. And we get to the point of making communicative, making the activity communicative. That is, from the mechanical to the meaningful and communicative in the end. This interaction, this dialogue is communicative only if the student doesn't know the answer. If the student knows the answer, it is not communicative. That is, if the teacher says, okay, let's practice. Do you like? Here are the bananas, the apples, the grapes. Okay. And now we will practice in pairs. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Now, please, everybody answer in affirmative form. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what is the answer? Yes, I do. Do you like? Yes, I do. Ah, excellent. Okay. So please practice with the bananas, the apples, the grapes, etc. That is not communicative because the students will go, do you like bananas? And they know that the answer will be, yes, I do, all the time. Okay. So that is not communicative. All right. So it will be communicative if the student has freedom of choice to say yes or no. Do you like bananas? I am asking the question because I don't know if you like them or not. So I will receive a genuine answer. Do you like bananas? Oh, yes, I do. Ah, okay. And do you like apples? No, I don't. Oh, really? Okay. So there is a genuine answer. I'm getting real information. All right. So student A doesn't know the answer, and student B has freedom of choice. Okay. All right. But there's one more thing. There's one more thing. Typically in books, or maybe teachers use the visual aids, and they can stick them on the board, or they can open the application. No, they open the app, and everything is there. And the elements, the linguistic elements, are numbered. So you find number 1, bananas, number 2, apples, number 3, grapes, number 4. Okay. Now, if you tell your students to go in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, you will spoil the activity. Because the student who answers will know what the next question is. So the moment student A asks, do you like bananas? Do you like cat? Do you like cat? Student A hasn't finished asking the question, and the student B is already answering. Ah, no, I don't. Yes, I do. Because he isn't listening. Student B isn't listening to the question because he knows what the question is, what the next question is. All right? So the recommendation is don't go in order. Don't go in order. Okay? All right? Don't go in order. Okay? So this is the introduction I can make. All right? Going from what is mechanical to communicate, mechanical meaningful, communicative. Okay, when we talk about interaction, we talk about dialogues. They can be mini dialogues, mini dialogues. It's just question and answer, one question, one answer. Okay, but remember that it gets expanded. Yes, it gets expanded. So what you begin with 2 lines, then becomes 3, 4 lines, 5 lines. Okay, and you compose your dialogue. All right. So this is the approximate. I mean, this is the introduction, no? That I can give previous to get into what role play may be. All right. So let's see. What is a role play? Then there you are. It is when someone pretends to be someone else in an imaginary situation or context. For example, in a restaurant, at the airport, etc. Usually, not always, usually, students are given role cards with information about who they are and what the situation is, plus some prompts or questions to get them started. Alternatively, the role card might have an action that needs to be completed. Okay, so it's all about pretending, no? You assume a character, all right? So you are a salesman, you are a customer, yes? All right? You're a police officer, you are a pedestrian, okay? Etc. And in order to work on this even better, you can use prompts like hats, like I don't know, different elements that the character needs, okay, to represent the character. All right. Yes, that becomes then nicer, no, at the end. Okay, but this is the idea of a role play. Okay, you tell your students to pretend to be someone else. Okay, you explain the situation, etc. All right, so I think this is clear, right? Yes. Now let's see an example of a role card. No, we can give each student a role card. Okay, this is an example. You want a return ticket to London. Buy the ticket and find out what time the train leaves. Okay, so this student receives this role card and he has to find the way to do everything that the card is telling him to do. Okay, he will find a way to use the language that he knows and the language that he has learned before, the language that he has learned, that he has just learned today in the lesson. Okay, so if the student receives this role card, you want a return ticket to London, buy the ticket. Okay, yeah. So what is the first thing? What happens? So another student has received, of course, another role card, no, which says, okay, you are the salesperson. You sell tickets, no, at the station. So sell the tickets. No, that's all. Okay. Or you can give them a specific instructions like you sell tickets at the station, but there are no tickets to London for the morning shift, for example. No? Something like that. Okay. So with this card, the students have to produce a dialogue. Okay? So you say, all right, begin. Begin. That's all. Teacher, I begin. Who begins? May I? They need to improvise. Improvise. Okay? Of course, the first time you have to make things clear, but later, next lesson, you just tell them, all right, begin. No? But the first time you tell them, okay, any of you may begin, either of you, you or you. Okay? Don't worry, just begin. Follow the instructions in your cards. Okay, so obviously they will start like good morning or good afternoon. I like it. Return ticket to London, please. Okay. What time does the train leave? Oh, that is the next question. Okay. So the other student will say something like, good afternoon. Oh, I'm afraid we don't have any tickets to London for the morning shift. Would you like to travel in the afternoon? Okay, so you see, and so this will foster your students' conversation. All right, because then the student who's buying the ticket will say, oh, so okay, well, yeah, no problem. I can travel in the afternoon. How much is it? Yeah, okay, here you are, and that's all. Thank you. Goodbye. Or maybe the student says, oh, in the afternoon. No, I want to travel in the morning. I'm sorry, we don't have any tickets for the morning. Well, all right. What can I do? Okay, etc. You see? So you just give them the situation. You are at the train station. Okay. One student is the salesperson here. Okay. The clerk at the station, and the other student is the passenger. Okay, he wants to travel. All right. Let's talk. Come on, begin. And that's all. That's all. Okay. So this is role play. This is what will happen, should happen after all that process of training the students in saying things. Remember, they cannot say anything that they haven't been trained previously. Okay? They need to listen a lot. They need to repeat a lot, to use a lot, until they get to this point in which they can role play the Optimus moment. So, why use role plays? Well, role plays allow you to introduce situations from the real world into the classroom. Right? That is the idea. Okay? So today we are in a restaurant. Okay? Today we are at the airport. All right. So today this is a conversation at the shopping center, etc., etc. So situations, okay, from the real world. Okay. Now there is no script. There is no script. Okay. All right. So, teacher, what is the dialogue that we have to memorize for tomorrow? No, there is no dialogue to memorize. You will improvise the dialogue. Oh. Teacher, who will be my partner? I have, so the students, I mean, old-fashioned, no? Old-fashioned, or, well, I mean, teachers who have not applied this yet, then they get their students to think about this, no? Teacher, who can I choose my partner, or you will tell me who my partner will be, so we can memorize the dialogue for tomorrow, for next class? No. I will call 2 students at random. I will call 2 students at random. Okay? And they will improvise a dialogue. Okay? So that is the real moment of communication, and that is a real moment for evaluation. So you are not evaluating memory. You are not evaluating how good your students are at memorizing lines of a dialogue. No, you are evaluating how good your students are at speaking using the language previously learned, plus the language just taught. Okay, that's it. So they interact, and of course, you have your rubric, no, to test this, to evaluate this. Okay, so this is the idea. All right. Okay. At this point, when we are face to face, I like to ask if you have any question or any comment, but I'm afraid that we cannot do this at this moment, unless, of course, unless you can give me some questions in the chat, etc. But we have questions at the end of the workshop, so please, of this conference, so please take notes all your questions, so that we can talk at the end. Okay, all right. So when can you use role plays? Typically at the end of the lesson, to practice in a real situation, right? Yes, that is the typical stage. But we can also use role plays at the beginning of the lesson, following a test, teach, test procedure. That is, if we give them the role cards at the beginning of the class, your students will perform and you will take notes. Okay, so they can do this, they cannot do that. All right. And right after that, you will teach based on your annotations. Okay. And after that teaching, then you will test again. In other words, you will give them the role cards again so that they can role play. Okay, and you complete the cycle. All right, so we may have these 2 moments or stages in which you can use role play. Okay, all right. Now, What we are talking here is about something that is communicative. And one more time, every time we say communicative, we think about the communicative approach, which started this fashion, okay? And when we talk about the communicative approach, we're talking about acts of speech. What is the act of speech? The function. In other words, what am I teaching my students to do with the language? And you have a list of functions, okay? All right, I'm teaching them to say hello, to say goodbye. I'm teaching them to make an invitation, to accept the invitation, and to reject the invitation. I'm teaching my students to complain, okay? To make a complaint, to apologize, okay? To apologize because of that complaint, okay? Yes? To maybe to offer a solution to that complaint, okay? Yes, so there is always 2 or 3 functions because one is the response to the other. One has to do with the other. They go along. Okay. So this is what we should have in mind, the functions of the language. Be careful. We are not thinking in terms of grammar. For role plays, we don't think in terms of grammar. No, we think in terms of functions because we are talking about communication, the communicative approach, the functional notional approach. Okay? Yes? So when we ask our students to interact, we tell them, okay, complain. Now, apologize. This is what we tell them. Okay, make your invitation. All right, you accept. Make your invitation. Reject this time. Okay, this is what we tell them. We don't tell them, okay, use should. Okay, use the present simple. No, we are not telling them that. Okay. So this is the ABC. This is the foundations. You need to have this clear in your mind. Okay. What do you want your students to do with the language? Okay. That's it. All right. Are there any disadvantages to role plays? Well, if the situation is unfamiliar, they may fail. Of course. Right? If they have never been to the airport, if they don't know what happens at the airport, then the role play may fail. Okay? But there you are to teach them. Okay? To educate them. All right? Because it's very important for us to be in the role of educators rather than instructors. Right? This is very important to remember also. I have seen some teachers who are only instructors. They only ask the students to open their books, or they only show the application on the intelligent whiteboard. They read instructions, and that's all. That's all they do. They read instructions. Everything that they read, all the instructions that the application, or that the book, or that the workbook offers. No, and that's all. So, are you an instructor or an educator? A real teacher needs to construct the knowledge and make real decisions. Okay, and well, then you have, of course, the processes of teaching deductively or inductively, right? Deductively, when you tell them, okay, today we will learn, the purpose of this class is to learn the present simple. And for the present simple, when we ask questions, we use the auxiliary do. And when we ask questions with he, she, it, of course, we use the auxiliary does. And then that is teaching deductively. And you are conferencing, lecturing, and your students are just listening and maybe reading or maybe taking notes and trying to cope with all that grammar jargon that you use when you explain. No? Auxiliary, direct objects, preposition, but when you teach inductively, then you try to make your students get to the conclusion, step by step, understand. So you present, I work in the morning, etc. But Lucy works in the afternoon. Can you see the difference here? Works. They get to the idea. See? They get to identify the difference. There's a literacy here. Why? Okay. Well, etc. I think that's another conference. All right, but this is the ABC. So this is what is behind everything that we are talking about here. So if the situation is unfamiliar, then they may fail, right? They may, but you are there. However, imagination always works fine. Imagination. And some students have a lot of imagination. Little students from elementary school, or the lower grades, they have more imagination than anybody. So, well, here's an example. You are an alien from another planet. You are visiting Earth for the first time. You want to know what different things are used for. Point to something and ask the Earthling how it's used and what it is used for. And student B, that is the card for student B. You meet an alien. Explain to them how you use the things they point to. Okay? All right? So in other words, the question, what's this? Is not stupid anymore, because I am an alien. What is this? Okay. And so student B will answer, that's a pen. What do you use a pen for? You use it to write. Look. Okay, so it's a different strategy, different point of view. All right. Well, okay. How do you set up a role play? First of all, make sure students understand the situation or context, right? Okay. You are in a restaurant. Here's the table, the chairs, all right? One student is the customer and the other student is the waiter, okay? All right, please read your cards and do your dialogue, okay? Come on. Now, by the way, you should have as many role cards as the students you have so that you can distribute them, okay, evenly, of course, evenly. You need the same number of customers and the same number of waiters, for example, okay? Or you might have 2 customers and 1 waiter, okay? And they practice in groups of 3, no? Groups of 3 students. So it depends, no? It depends. So you distribute the role cards, okay? And here, one warning. Look, you say, well, but I cannot print or even write role cards for everybody. Well, all right. Just divide your whiteboard in 2. You say, look, waiters will do this, and you write. Okay. Customers will do this, and you write. That's all. Okay. So there will be customers and there will be waiters. All right. Now, groups of 3, or maybe, okay, now pair off. Come on. Everybody in pairs. Pairs. Yeah. Ta 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 ta. Okay. Good. Now please make a selection. One is the waiter and one is the customer. Are you ready? Did you make a selection? Okay, let's begin. That's all. Okay. Yeah. All right. Next step. Give students time to prepare, but not over prepare. Okay. That is time to prepare. Just, okay, I'm going to think about this. Okay, I gotta be conscious that, okay, I'm the waiter. What kind of questions will I mean, okay. Check the time. We don't want them to over prepare. Over prepare means that they will be writing a complete dialogue. No. Then we are getting behind. Then we're going on the way back to memorization of dialogues. No, writing a complete dialogue. No, we don't want them to write the script. Remember, there is no script. There is no script. Everything is here. Here. Okay, they can make notes, of course. No, just okay notes. Yeah, first I will say hello. Then offer menu. Okay, give prices. Okay, bring food. Say goodbye. Yeah, okay, those are the notes that they can quickly write. Okay, the customer. Okay, I will say hello. Say hello. Ask for a table. Ask for the menu. Okay, ask for the price. Yeah, say goodbye. Okay, those are the notes. All right, but we don't want a script. All right, that is the idea of the role play. No script. Okay. Of course, you have to train them in doing the role play. No, your first role play will be, of course, absolutely explain. No, this is how a role play works. This is what I want you to do. Okay, look, you don't need to write the script of a dialogue. No, just you have to think. If I am the customer, what do I have to do? Okay, so you start writing on the board. Okay, say hello, ask for the menu, ask for the tables for the menu, etc. Ask for the prices. Yeah, okay, yeah. So these are the notes. This is what you have to do if you're the customer. If you're the waiter, what do you have to do? This. Okay, so just a little brainstorming, no? Some brainstorming, so you can teach them how to get ready for a role play. Okay, that is the training they need. Okay, all right. And number 3, you might consider to assign roles and organize the pairs, groups, or class, right? Yeah, you might assign roles, okay, but I don't do it. I never do it. I never do it. I just call for evaluation. I just call 2 students at random, okay, and I tell them to begin. Okay, so here is the moment when some students have chosen to be waiters, or maybe they prepared to be waiters, no, but suddenly the other student starts and he says, good afternoon, welcome to Tanta. And, and so he's already acting as a waiter. Okay, so what happens? Well, the other student immediately has to change in his mind. Okay, well, I'm the customer. All right. Oh yes, good afternoon. May I have a table by the window? Okay, all right. I like a table. I like a table for 2 people, please. A table for 2 people. Sure. This way, please, etc. No, that they continue speaking. All right. So this happens, and I like that. I like that. You can see how they struggle to say what they need to say in their role. But okay, you might like to assign roles. Okay, you are the waiter, you are okay. All right. Okay. So that's it. And of course, this role play may be for pairs, for groups, no, 3, 4, who knows? Okay, or maybe the whole class. What about a role play for the whole class? That is, maybe we have this press conference. We may have a press conference in which we have maybe it's a soccer team, and you have three soccer players and 1 coach, and the rest are reporters, no? Reporters, journalists. So they ask questions and questions, and the people at the at the table, the soccer players and the coach have to answer, no? Just the usual thing that they see on TV, no? Yes? Okay. Excuse me, my name is Manuel Salas from El Comercio. I have a question for the coach. Okay, yes, and all right, your question. And the coach responds, etc. Role play with the whole class. Well, all right. What should I do after a role play? Well, just like anything in teaching, you have to reflect. Yes, you have to reflect. And you may correct. Okay, so you reflect on with your students on okay how they felt, etc. What did you find difficult? Okay, what did you find easy? Okay, etc. Yes. What vocabulary do you need? Ah, teacher, I didn't know how to say this. Okay, well, you say this. No? Okay. Teacher, if I want to say this in English, okay, yeah, you say like this. All right. You see? And you correct. You correct because when they are working simultaneously, role playing simultaneously, all the pairs or groups simultaneously, you are walking around taking notes. Okay. You are not seated at your desk. You're walking around. You're always walking around. A teacher is always walking around, explaining, monitoring, whatever. You are always walking around. This is something that I have always observed. Some teachers just stand up at the front and they never walk around. That's impossible. You have to walk around. Okay. So correction takes place because you took notes. So now you know. And of course, you will correct anonymously. Yes. Correction for everybody. Right? I heard this. Look, pay attention to this. Okay. I like you to be careful with this, etc. Right? As usual. Okay. Yes. All right. So it may be just a simple dialogue for beginners. Yes. Like this. Waiter. Yes, sir. There is a hair in my soup. Oh, I'm very sorry. I'll change it right now. Thank you. Okay. But of course, what is happening here? Well, the customer is complaining. Yes, that's it. You are the customer. You will complain. Right? What is the waiter doing? He's apologizing. Okay. He's offering a solution. Okay. So there is a card. You are the waiter. You will apologize and give a solution to the customer's problem. Okay. That's it. That is the final stage. What is the previous stage? What happened before? Well, before getting to this, before arriving at this role play, at this dialogue, because this is not role play, no? The role play is what I'm telling you right now. No? You are the waiter, you are the customer. Okay, that is a role play. But before that role play, there is this conversation that your students have practiced. Yes. This is what happened before. And maybe this is what happened before. Imagine some problems. There is a hair in my soup. What else can you find in a soup? A fly. Oh. There is a fly in my soup. What can be worse? A roach. Disgusting. There is a roach in my soup. Okay. So you have given your students alternatives. Otherwise, how can they speak? how can they express a problem? You need to feed them, feed your students. Okay? Maybe you fed your students with expressions like, I'll change it right now. What is a synonym for right now? Okay, right away. All right, you can say that. I'll change it right away. What is the meaning of this? Immediately. I'll change it immediately. Okay? So they have been taught this, they have practiced this before they get to the dialogue and in the end, the role play. Okay? Maybe it is not as easy as this, but maybe you are giving them alternative problems. There is a hair in my soup. What's another problem that you may have as a customer? My coffee is cold. One more problem. My soup is salty. Great. Okay, so they have a collection of problems for later use. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I think I've been speaking too much. All right. Well, so this is the idea. This is what happens. Okay. This is the transition from memory, memorization of dialogues, to role play, improvisation of conversations. All right. So this is what we tell our students. You are the waiter, try to give the customer the solution to his problem. You are the customer, complain about the food. Okay? That is a transition from memorization of dialogues to improvisation of a conversation through role play. All right. You might like to visit One Stop English or any other resource. And I really thank you very much for attending this reminder of one of the many, many topics that we have in the English language teaching. Okay, I hope to see you again. Questions? I think there are some questions.
Thank you so much, dear Manuel, for this amazing presentation. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with all of us. I'm really grateful. Now it's time to answer some questions, dear Manuel. Mrs. Cáceres, are you there? Mrs. Cáceres, can you share the questions with our guest speaker, please? I suppose that she has some problems with her internet connection.
No,
Mrs.
maybe
Cáceres,
she got.
can you hear me? Yeah, yes.
I
Okay,
think
no problem.
she got bored. She fell asleep.
That's okay, no problem. I am going to share some questions here.
Okay. There were some questions in the YouTube,
yes.
right? In the
Mrs.
chat.
Cáceres, are you there the last time? I tried to.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm here.
she's
I'm
here.
so sorry. I have some problems with the internet.
No problem.
Yes.
That's okay. You can continue.
Sure,
Okay.
Consuelo.
Oh, good evening. I'm so sorry. I don't have the camera today. Thank you so
Okay.
much, dear
Okay.
Manuel, for being with us. I really enjoyed your presentation. It was very beautiful. and you shared all your expertise about this really interesting topic, sometimes difficult for many teachers, including me. Thank you so much for that. And then we are going to start with some questions. Okay, I have some questions for you. And the first question is from, let me see here. Okay, this is from Pedro Beltran, and he's asking about, can a student be communicative competent without the process of learning? That's an interesting question.
Yes, it's a big question. In fact,
yes,
it's a big question because you are bringing into this topic the concept of learning, the concept of communication. Okay, and what we can say is that we are always looking for the students to communicate, to be competent, no, in their communication. And this communicative competence may be the result of learning or acquisition. Okay, so I'm bringing into the topic acquisition, another big term. Okay, so if you like terms, then we can talk about learning and acquisition. Yes, both happen. You know, learning is conscious and acquisition is unconscious. So this is what will happen. All right. But anyway, we can lead them to this communicative competence. Okay. And you know that when we teach, everything has a purpose. Okay, a purpose. So that's why it is our responsibility to give students opportunities to communicate one way or another. And that's why today I mentioned this transition from mechanical exercises, meaningful exercises, communicative exercises. Okay, the characteristics. You need to know the characteristics very well. Okay, so communicative exercise is not two students speaking because they are in pairs. No, wait a minute. There are, okay, some conditions which I mentioned today.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much for your answer. Yes, you briefly explained at the beginning, no?
Yes.
Not to teach mechanically, but let's try to teach communicatively, right? Which
Yes.
is really important, no? To make them think, our students, to be better speakers while using the language. Okay, next question. Edilberto Martinez, okay, he is asking, do you recommend any textbooks or apps in particular to practice role play?
No, in fact, I couldn't because no, I couldn't mention a publisher, but what I recommend is to construct the role play for our students. Any lesson that you are teaching, any book that you are using will be good. Okay, I mean the resource is just the book, but you are the decision maker. You are the builder. This is our job, no? As teachers, to construct, to design. In other words, we have to design the role play cards, no? The role cards. We have to design this for our students, and we have to do it little by little. We have to begin doing this little by little. I mean, until we get used to it and we become experts, no? But
right.
we have to begin little by little. We have to try little by little, no? With our own material. Yes, okay.
Yes, very interesting. The question is really interesting, but you also mentioned, okay, first we teach vocabulary, little by little, then the grammar,
everything in context, everything using the
context.
correct yes, in context, and giving them situations where they can practice the language creatively. And
Yes.
yes. And here goes another question, and this is from Lourdes Paucara, and she says, do you recommend the role play at the end or at the beginning of our class or our lesson or our unit while teaching? That's another interesting question.
Okay.
Please.
Well, I will, if you are beginning, I will recommend, if you are beginning, I mean, using role play, I will recommend it at the end of the lesson. At the end, I mean, the first choice is at the end of the lesson. Okay. I also mentioned that you could do it at the beginning, but it is a process that may be more difficult. It is more, of course, more thoughtful on the part of the teacher. Okay. And sometimes there may be a clash between your desire to do this and the usual procedure of your lessons, okay, or what is expected as the procedure of your lessons, right? As an educational policy of your school, no, for example, or you know, the English area, no, the coordination of your school. So we better take it easy and start using role play at the end of the lesson.
Yes. First, we push them to practice a lot, and then they can role play.
Yes,
Okay,
it's a natural
and here,
consequence.
yes, and here we have a beautiful question, and this is from Janet Luz Albarracin Quispe, and she says, how can we motivate our students to participate in role playing? Because most of them don't want to do it, because sometimes they are ashamed, they don't feel comfortable because of the use of English in class. Sometimes it's difficult for them to role play in front of in front of the class.
Okay, as a matter of fact, this role play should happen with simultaneous pairs, if we are talking about pairs. Okay, I mean, everybody's role playing at the same time. You may have, of course, maybe at the end of this simultaneous role play, a couple of volunteers to come to the front and do it for everybody to see and listen. Okay, but no, if you do it simultaneously, then those shy students will do it because, you know, everybody is speaking at the same time, so they are not the focus of attention. Okay, obviously, if you call volunteers to the front, they are the focus of attention, so that threatens the shy students. Okay, now on the other hand, role play proposes to pretend. So they are not themselves. They are pretending to be someone else. Okay, so this is nice. It helps shy students. Okay, and even more if you ask them to wear a mask, something, okay, that represents a character, then shy students will work even better.
Yes. Yes, you also mentioned that yes, they need to pretend and they need to use, I don't know, accessories, clothes, hats, in order to feel much more comfortable while speaking or while making the conversation. Dear Manuel Salas, thank you so much for giving us this great presentation. And please, I beg you, okay, to stay with us because we need to continue, okay,
Sure.
until this presentation and everybody talks, okay, about today's webinar. Thank you so much for for everything you do for the community. Thank you, Mr. Manuel Salas.
Thank you for your invitation.
Okay, thank you so much again. Okay, our next speaker now, okay? Our next speaker is Miss Lara, okay? This is for next Saturday, the 5th, okay, at 6 p.m. You are cordially invited, okay, to be with us. And the next speaker is going to share with us about technology and how to empower students to improve in listening, speaking, reading, and writing, including children who are differentially skilled. So this is going to be a very interesting topic because she's going to be talking about how to empower our children in the 4 skills when learning a language. Thank you so much, Ms. Lara. We are eager to learn from you next Saturday also. Okay, and now the exit ticket, okay, the exit ticket. So Mr. I don't know, Kur, are you there? Kur? Mr. Bilela, can you hear me? Okay, I think it's the connectivity. Let's wait. If not, I would do it. I cannot hear. Mr. Bilela, I cannot hear you. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, yeah, all right. Please.
Thank you very much. So, the exit ticket is here. Voy a ir letra por letra. HTTPS, 2 puntos seguidos, 2 slashes, luego todo en minúscula, CUTT, punto seguido, L minúscula, Y, un slash más, y viene las letras Spring y Tip 8. La S de Spring es mayúscula. Luego viene la P, la R, la I, la N, la G en minúscula. E en mayúscula, T en mayúscula, I en minúscula, la P en mayúscula y finaliza con el número 8. Es nuestro webinar. Recuerda que solo tienes 15 minutos y la información que puedas darnos en el exit ticket es muy importante para nosotros. Así que, hurry up.
Querido Kurt, aprovechamos también para decirles que seguramente ya debe estar fijado en el chat de YouTube el link de nuestro exit ticket. Recuerden, por favor, llenar sus datos correctamente y responder las 2 preguntitas del webinar. Muchísimas gracias, estimado Kurt. Y bueno, llegó el momento de finalizar con la sesión de hoy, no sin antes agradecer a todo el equipo administrativo que dirige esta grandiosa comunidad de English Teachers in Peru, a todos mis colegas, compañeros, familia de TIP, que está siempre al tanto cada semana de toda la comunidad en WhatsApp, en Facebook, compartiendo recursos y organizando estos webinars. Bien, ahora sí podemos ir encendiendo las camaritas. empezando por mí misma. Vamos encendiendo las cámaras, querido equipo administrativo, ahí está, Kurt. Gracias, Gina Soplocuco, también administradora de la comunidad, Mayrita, Miss Mayra Ríos Rengifo, Mrs. Cáceres, espero que solucione el problema con la camarita. Bien, en nombre de toda la comunidad de English Teachers in Perú, estimado Manuel, realmente gracias, gracias, gracias de todo corazón por todo lo compartido el día de hoy. Realmente siempre es un gusto tenerte, siempre aprendemos de ti. Gracias por esa disposición que tienes de estar siempre presente cuando hacemos la convocatoria, cuando te invocamos y hacemos el llamado para que puedas venir a la comunidad a compartir. Gracias por siempre tener una respuesta positiva y como un gran maestro de vocación, pues estar aquí presente compartiendo con los 500 maestros que han estado conectados, maestros que han estado saludando de Ecuador, de Venezuela, de México y obviamente todos nuestros colegas peruanos. Bien. Este aplauso de parte de todo el equipo administrativo va para ti, estimado
Gracias.
Manuel, por la grandiosa presentación del día de hoy. Muchísimas gracias. Tal vez algún mensajito, algunas palabritas antes de cerrar este webinar, querido Manuel.
No, siempre es un placer colaborar. Es nada más un poco de la experiencia acumulada en años, de lo que he podido estudiar, compartir con colegas, aprender de colegas y aprender de estudiantes, que es lo más interesante en realidad. Todos los días aprendemos de los niños o adolescentes, de adultos, etcétera. Cada persona aprendemos. Así que nada, cuando quieran, siempre estaré dispuesto para poder colaborar y, bueno, contarles un poco, nada más. Solo es un poco de mis vivencias.
Miles de gracias a ti. Aquí en Puno te cuento que se cae el cielo con granizo, con truenos, tormentas y demás, pero aquí sigo conectada y espero que no se vaya la pantalla todavía, ya estamos en la parte final. Mil gracias una vez más, querido Manuel. Nos vamos despidiendo. Con ustedes ha estado el día de hoy nuestro querido administrador Kurt Vilela Matos, que está ahí presente, Kurt, nuestra administradora Gina Soplocuco, administradora de la comunidad de English Teachers in Perú, Mayra Ríos Rengifo, nuestra querida Mayrita, presente aquí, Mrs. Cáceda, muchísimas gracias, que ha estado en la ronda de preguntas y detrás de toda la transmisión, a José Ortega. Mil gracias a toda la audiencia por acompañarnos y la próxima semana lo seguimos esperando. Mil gracias a ti también, Manuel, y por supuesto que te vamos a volver a invocar.
Bye, bye.
Bye, bye.